Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're all doing well and had a good weekend. Sorry I'm a bit late today. Had such a crazy schedule lately. Hopefully it'll even out, but there's just a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, I guess let's just get started. Okay, so I'm trying to remember where I left off. I know I was working on the mod UI, and I guess we're not ready to actually play yet. Let's see, so do... Oh, again, the choice dialog is disabled right now, so I can actually look at what I'm making. I think I was done doing like the mod basics, but I want to go ahead and create a UI for oh, this text is wrong for one thing, but for the mod, also the info panel. The text here I should rename to reload mods. Okay, so yeah, basically when you click on this more info, another screen should pop up with more information about each mod. So that's what we'll work on now. It'll be another kind of dialogue like this choice dialogue, so I might actually duplicate it and then work from that. I guess it should appear below in case we actually need to have any dialogue. Or a choice. Okay, I'm trying to... There we go. I didn't want it to parent from the visible area, but I want it to be in between. Sometimes that's a little difficult to do. So first of all, I want to unlink this from the prefab. So I think I go to game object and break prefab. Okay. And then rename this to mod info dialog. I guess I should. Yeah, I notice I keep going back and forth between using camel case and just normal. I probably should be more consistent, but okay, so I guess I'll hide this again. Alright, so what do I want to have on here? So we'll have all this information again, and then also have the author. Well, the version's already there. Yeah, this large image, and then I guess the description. That will be will be on this. I think I'll just get rid of all of that, and we'll just remake it. First of all, it should be a lot bigger, shouldn't it? That looks a bit strange. Let's have a better aspect ratio. Okay, we'll go with something like that for now. Doesn't really matter a whole lot what I pick, but then I'm gonna have an image. Okay, well, I guess here I should put a horizontal layout group on it, or vertical. And child would control its width and height. And yeah, we don't care if it expands. Okay, so now this is invisible. I should probably make a test image. Let's see. Okay, so let's open up a sprite. How big was this? Because it doesn't matter. It was 500 by 600, so 460. Yeah, I should probably figure different ratios for this, but okay, let's not go with such quite a nasty image. And then we'll just want black border so I can, oops. Although it's going to be a bit difficult to draw it with pixel art, I think. Okay, did that actually, yeah, it didn't get this one. Okay, maybe this wasn't the best idea to use this pixel art tool for such a big image. Okay, let's go like that. And then I could just fill that last ring in. Okay. So save as. Okay. Well, it actually won't go in the lobby. It will go in the mod files. How would I save it? Actually, it probably. It wouldn't. We wouldn't really want to have it as an asset bundle because we want to just be able to load it normally. That's a good question. Well, I know you. I'm pretty sure you can load an image without using the asset bundles. So I guess we'll want to look into that. But so this would just go in testing, description, PNG. That's fine. Actually, while I'm here, I should probably make an icon too. So this icon will be something like 32 by 32. And let's just do the same type thing. All right. But anyway, since I have that, okay, I guess if there's no image, then this would just be hidden. So I think this will be okay. But let's put. Just put something in it for now. Okay, so let me see. I'm trying to. It doesn't show the layout information, which is kind of annoying. Oh yeah, it's because it's usually down here. So layout properties. Okay, so it does have a preferred width and height, which is good to see. But how come it's not being set? Because I have it the child control size. And I thought this. I don't want it to expand. I thought that would always make it be set to its preferred size. So what's going on here? Again, the Unity UI does not seem to work as I expected. Oh, well, no, it does work. It's just the size is so small. It's 10 by 10. I can't even see it. Okay. I kind of would like a test image. Just something that would pop up in here if nothing's loaded. Yeah, so I think I'll just pull these out. Well, I guess we can just use this Well, we'll want like a default image when it hasn't loaded yet. So. Oh yeah, you can't copy and paste like that. You have to duplicate and then move it. Okay, now why is it putting these as a cube? I can just use our preset, yeah, the UI sprites. Okay, so this will just be default mod description. Okay, let's go mod image, and then this will be default mod icon. And now I can go ahead and change this to use that new mod icon. Okay, yeah, it looks worse, but that's, well, that's something prettier in there some other time. All right, so anyway, I can use a default mod image and that should pop up pretty nicely. Right, so what would happen if this image was bigger? I guess it would get squished, I'm not sure. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it too much right now because yeah, this UI is just temporary, so. Let's just add a bit of padding at the top to make that look a little better. Okay. So now we'll have some text. Oops, I guess I shouldn't have duplicated. They'll have the name. How do I want to? Do I need to put the name, the version, and the author here? Something like that. Probably the font size should be a little bigger. And then maybe a little smaller for these. And we could maybe even combine these into one area if I really wanted to. Okay, so this will just be info text. Right, and now if I just child this to that and then have a horizontal layout group and change both of these to be centered, that still doesn't work. Yeah, now I just need some spacing and there we go. And then last but not least, we'll need the description. which that should be fine. I mean, it'll be it should fill up this whole text or this whole area, so I should basically have this expand. So layout element, so I want to set flexible height, so that way it will expand to fill this area. And then last but not least, I need a close button. Oops, that's not how you spell close. And okay, in order to get this to automatically size, I'll create a horizontal layout group and set child controls width and height, and then I just add some padding. So I don't know. Something like that should work. Although maybe I do want it to expand to fill the whole width at least. Yeah, so this is basically how it would look, I think. Any other buttons? Like I was thinking I might have like a download button. But I guess I should maybe have another text here that's like an error text. I would say this mod is out of date for whatever reason. And then of course we'd hide that if there was no error. Okay, so now I need some mono behavior. Oh yeah, gotta get rid of that. That I can place all these UI elements into. Maybe I'll just call it the registry because that's how I've named these other objects that are just mono behaviors. Oh, yeah. Usually it doesn't do that, but I think it gets confused once you rename this namespace. Okay, so this needs to be a public class inheriting from mono behavior. Right, and so we'll have the image. Okay, there we go. This took a bit to show up. And we'll have the name text. What else was there? Oh, version text. Author text. Yeah, error text, and then the description text. And finally a button for the close button. Okay, so I think that'll be good. I should fix the text here, just so it's not quite so confusing. Not to recompile there. So dialogue. I thought it was done, but apparently not. Now I just need to plug in these values into the registry so that way scripts can get a hold of them and of course set all the text values. And the close button. Okay, so I think that's done. So I think pretty much now we have the UI part finished for the mods system. So now we'll need to get to actually hooking up the UI to the rest of the game. And I think the first order of business will be to actually load the mods from the file system, which we don't do yet. So I have this mod data registry, which gets all the information about the mods, and it's going to be a lot more than just this. Okay, so I load all the mods in just one list. I wonder, oh, well, that's how it would be, because not like framework and content mods are in different files, or yeah, folders. But in this game, there's two types of mods you can have. A framework mod kind of sets the, I guess, the rules of the gameplay. Like if you're thinking back to Pokemon, a framework mod would decide the types and their weaknesses and strengths and things, whereas a content mod actually would have the Pokemon. So and the reason I do it like that is because you could have many different content mods loaded as long as they're compatible with the framework, but you'd only ever want one framework active. So it was kind of just a good idea to think of it in that way. But basically, okay, so this unique ID is just some way to get a hook on the mod, and it's actually going to be its folder name. But what else? We'll need to have Boolean if it's a framework. Maybe I shouldn't do that, because maybe sometime down the road I'll want to have a different or another type of a mod, so I should use an enumeration instead of just a Boolean. So unknown framework content. That's all for now. So what else? I guess we'll want to have the various texts. So display name. Author. Version. Well, this will be the display version. We'll have like a numeric version because we'll have to make sure that everybody has compatible versions. So public int numeric version. And okay, what else? I guess I'll need that image file. So sprite description image and sprite icon image, which we'll have to figure out how to load that. Okay, then I have a list of AI scripts. Oh, yeah, we'll also have to figure out how to load the map. That's a good point. Public class map. Yeah, we'll have a list of maps contained in this mod. Which I guess I'll just need another list here for maps. Well, we'll do that later. I think I completely forgot about that. Okay, now this doesn't actually say if a mod is loaded or is selected for loading or not. Do I want to put that in here, or do I want to have a separate... data structure for that? Okay, so trying to think. So before I worked on this game, I did a chess game that was also moddable. And one of the things I did in that is that you could see mods that the other players had and that they wanted to use, and so you try to synchronize So you kind of would send this mod data over the network. And so that, yeah, I'm trying to think. If you sent it over the network, you probably wouldn't have all this information. Actually, no, you'd probably want to have all this. Because what would happen is if you're not... What actually would happen if you're not the host? I guess you would just see a list of mods that the host would pass to you, because like if you're not the host, it doesn't even matter what mods you necessarily have installed unless the host has chosen them. Yes, that's okay. So basically, yeah, if you're not the host, this might be a little different. I guess we'd still want to load your own mod data. Because, for example, we need to know if you had a specific mod loaded, and then if it was... I'm trying to say if it was the right version and everything. Okay, so maybe instead I should call this like loaded mod registry, and then we'll need to have a separate thing for registry you get over the network. That's going to make things kind of confusing. Yeah, but I remember this. I also had this issue before. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so I guess this will just be mods that are loaded. Then we'll have another class that would have information about mods that other players have. And then, yeah, okay. So then if I do that, then I'd have another class for what mods are actually selected, I think. Alright, so let's change this to loaded mod. So I don't think I need to have this data in front. Guess this would change to loaded AI script. So I actually might need to go back and change up how I did the AI script chooser before, because yeah, if you're the host, it would use this, but if you're not the host, it would actually use data from the network. Well, actually, it wouldn't even let you choose. It would just show you whatever somebody else had picked. So basically, it would just be this display name. Okay, anyway, let's look and see how that would work. Okay, so here we'd also have another class for a network mod data. And I think it's going to have almost all the same type of thing. But I don't know if I need to have this AI script stuff, because if you're getting... Let's see, how would that work? Oh no, we do need to know this because we need to see, yeah, if we have this mod enabled. We can use the same mod type enumeration, I think. Yeah, so I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, there's some merit, I think, to combining these into one object. But I remember in the other game when I did that, it just got really confusing. Like, because when you wanted to reload the mod list, you would have to keep mods that were part of the network. So I think it, even though we'll have a lot of code duplication, it's probably better to keep these separate. But also, these would be like the mod list of other players. So let me see. We want to have a different list for each player, actually. So class, network, mod, client. And then this would have a list of the actual mod data. So their mods. And I guess let's have a string username for this. And then here we'll have list of network mod clients. Oops. Okay, so do I really need to have all this information? So basically, if you're not the host, you would want to get this information over the internet because you want to display that they need to go download it. Probably these would just be null until needed. Like we wouldn't really have to pass this unless it's selected. Okay, so probably how this will work as a network mod registry will just keep data. Like before we actually passed everyone's entire list of mods to each other. But I think the better way to do this is that when the host picks a mod, that would be sent in the lobby parameters, and so then everybody else would send their mod data back to the host. And then from there we could see if the versions were compatible. Okay, yeah, so that would probably be the best way because we would not transfer too much data back and forth, and so we'd only transfer what's needed. And then whenever the host chooses a mod, that would go through to the lobby parameters, and then they'd also want to send information about their mods to each client. Okay, so maybe that'll actually be like a, maybe we'll have like a mod info request message. That might be the easiest way to do it. And so then everybody would just request mod data from each player as needed, and that would be stored here. And then at the very end, when we do the ready check, we would do it one more time before we reload to make sure that everybody's mods are synchronized. Okay, so that's, I think, the best way to do it. So in that case, we would need to send all this information because we basically want to have all this data so we can display a full description and everything. So, okay, so this should be changed to network. Yeah, script data, but it's kind of the same. Okay, and then the last thing will be something like, I don't know, mod choice state. Which will have... Well, do I really need this? Because I could just get this from the lobby parameters, actually. Let me see. So the lobby parameters has a list of content mods and frameworks that are chosen. Okay. Yeah, so I don't need this actually. Oops, that's kind of loud. Okay, so I think we're pretty much good to go. We'll have some more stuff about maps, which I'll deal with later. And I think for now we'll just worry about loading from the file system. Which I guess you only have to do if you're the... Okay, well no, we just decided that even if you're not the host, you do need to know this information, so... Alright. Let's see, so mod loader. This will be a lot simpler than the previous mod, or the mod loading in the actual loading phase, because that had more to do with loading models and everything. What am I trying to do here? I don't want to be public. So this needs to be a flow logic container because I want to use the event system. And we'll need the loaded mod registry. And I don't know what else, but we'll come back to that. Probably there should be an event to reload mods. I guess we'll put here. So, okay, let's rename this to loaded mod data change. We'll have a different one for any network mod. And class, load mods, load mod files command. And when that's queued, then this mod loader will do its work. Okay, so in order to listen to that, we just need to add a new event exists listener for load mod command. Okay. So I have a class already that's just for loading table of contents. So I actually should have got a reference to that, but oops. Oh, I didn't want that. I wanted a table of contents loader. Okay, that's a weird way to capitalize that. Alright, so this, of course, will load the table of contents for one mod, but I have to give it the folder name. So I gotta get a list of all the folders in the mod file. Okay, I do have this. Okay, so I can use this all mods folder to get the folder, and then I think there's a way I can get a list of all files in a folder. Let's see. Okay, and I think it's like directory. Yeah, enumerate files, or I want to enumerate directories, I think. Okay, so for each var mod file in directory, enumerate directories in the all mods folder. So then I would get, I gotta do a try catch, I think. Let's see. Table of contents. Okay, so table of contents equals table of contents loader load. Okay, I should rename this to mod folder actually. Actually, I wonder how this is given to me. Like, is it an absolute file system or is it relative? Okay, well, I'll test that in a second. So catch. If there's an error, I don't know if I'll do anything except I guess I'll print it. So this would be table of contents, load exception. Because if there's an error, it would just... Well, it couldn't load the table of contents, so it couldn't really display anything in the files. Let's... Well, I guess I'll just print it for now. We might do something about this later to make it easier for mod authors to see if they can't load it. Oh, it just log exception. Okay, so let's just see what happens here. Oh, I do want to debug log the mod folder though. That's not what I want to do. And then I need something to actually call this. So I guess this would be called during setup. And then every time the reload mod button is clicked. Let me see. Setup manager. Events. Queue. New load mod files command. I think that will take care of that. And then in the lobby controller, I just need to initialize the mod loader. This can just be normal, I think. Okay, so I think this should work if I just start it from here, and I just kind of want to see what the mod... I want to see what the mod loader does, basically. It'll let me... Oh, it's still compiling, okay. I want to save it, and play. Okay. Oh yeah, so it is absolute file system. So I'll want to change this because I want to just get this last part to be the unique ID, but I guess that's fine for now. So string unique ID is path get file name, I think. Will give me the last part. Mod folder, and then to upper and variant. And now we'll just debug this. There should not be any duplicates. Actually, I don't know if Windows is case sensitive or not. I guess I could test that out. Oh, this worked correctly. Probably. I think it is case sensitive actually, or case insensitive, which is how we want it to be. But I guess I should make sure that we don't have duplicate unique IDs, so just in case, because that will mess up the whole game. So mod IDs, and we'll clear this up here. I also want to clear the mod. Excuse me. I want to clear that. So okay, we'll add the unique ID. Well, actually, so if mod IDs contains unique ID, is false, then we'll actually try to load it. If it's a duplicate, then we'd want to actually print an error. Bug log error duplicate mod unique ID, which again I think is impossible really, but just in case. Not that difficult to test for, so we might as well just do that. Okay, and then we'll have another function just to kind of keep this as clean as possible to create the actual mod data. So loaded mod data. From the table of contents and the unique ID. We actually would need probably the file as well, so mod folder. Guess I don't need this outside of there. So mods loaded, add new, create data. Oh, yeah, I don't need the new keyword. Contents, unique ID, and the mod folder. Okay. So a lot of the stuff we can just copy over. Let me see. First, I'll just place that and display name. Okay, we'll want to have some way to yeah, localize this, but for now I'm not worrying about localization. Got display version. Oh yeah, it's just called the version here. Oop. And author. Okay, that's all for that. So we'll have the description image, which will need to load an image. Okay, so I guess I'll have function for this, although this might take more than one frame. So yeah, let's not worry about the images yet. For AI scripts, I don't even know if I have this in the table of contents yet. Or actually be inside this database. So we have map blueprints. So I don't really have anything for the AI script yet. Okay, let's see. Let's add that here. And then let's. All this stuff isn't really that helpful. Let me see. That's what I actually need to do here. So network, info, requests, and registry. The dialog. Rows. Go to this above. This will be roughly the order we'll do it, I think. What else was there? Oh yeah, loading images. I guess should go above that because we'll need to have the image if we want to send it over the network. And also we're just loading the files right now. Okay, so yeah, we'll just not do the scripts yet. Or we'll just do this. This will be fine for now. So yeah, d dot description image is null and icon image is null. Okay, so that's fine. And then I guess when this is done, we'll want to queue a new mod, or it's loaded mod data change. Okay, then that would cause the interface to update. So I guess we'll go ahead and do now, because if we do this, we won't actually see any information. Although, I really should make this available in the debug panel I have set up in the Unity. What's this called? Inspector. The Unity Inspector. So let me see. Player slot input manager. Wait, this was what I was looking for. So I just need to make all these serializable so they'll show up. Oh yeah, also, I forgot to set the mod type. That's kind of important. Okay, what do they call this? Oh, yeah, mod type. So let's actually make this a separate function. So, parse mod type. Mod type, let's see, string is null or empty. Okay, so I really need to have probably some kind of exception for this. Okay, let's just call this mod load exception. And I'm going to go ahead from the start and use an enumeration. Num, it should be public here. And okay, so the first one we've run into, well, actually, if any of these are null, then we'd want to throw an error. Also, if version is negative. So we've got probably a lot to do. Override message. Oh, that's interesting. I've never actually seen that syntax. That's not what I want to do though. So return string format mod load exception. Oh, I don't actually have a private type variable here. Actually, let's see. Usually you want to have also an array of extra information to pass through. I had a nice class for this I used. the other exception, so I'm just going to grab that if I can find it real quick. Oh, this is the wrong folder. Keep going back and forth whether I like to have an internal enumeration or outside, so I think I'll put it. It doesn't really matter actually, because I was going to name it mod load exception type, and that would just be saving a dot, so I think it really matters. Although this does conflict with the system.type class, but I guess I'm not going to use it here, so it's okay. Okay, so if, let's switch this around. So table of contents is null. So I guess I'll need another try catch. Yeah. So if there's an error here, we'll do something. But here we actually just rethrow this as a mod load exception. I thought I had a constructor for it. Oh, right, but I always forget the new keyword when I'm doing exceptions. So this would just be load fail. And doesn't, this has info. So I wonder if that'll work. Okay, it does work. Okay, so if I have a duplicate, do I want to throw an error? If there's a duplicate unique ID, we almost don't even want to include it in the registry. Yeah, so I think that's what I'll do. So let's move. Okay. I'm kind of making this confusing. If I can fix my. There we go. I think that's correct. So yeah, that goes to there. Okay. Okay, so anyway, that was all so that down here I can throw exceptions. So the display name, well, actually if the display name's null, we would just use the unique ID. I think that's okay. So I can use a null coalescing operator for that. Oh, actually no, we can't, because for a string you want to do it if it's empty as well. So fd dot or string is null or empty. Display name, we would just set the display name to the unique ID. Okay, so if the display version is null or empty, I guess we'd set that to just a toString of the normal version. So d dot display version equals version 2 string. Okay, and the only exception here would be if the table of contents version is less than 0, then we'd want to throw an error. Invalid version. I guess I'd pass the unique ID here. Wonder would it let me pass the unique ID and still work? Okay, no. Yeah, because I wasn't sure how these parameter thing would work. So I guess we might need to go fix that later because I'd have to like rebuild another string array, but it's not really a big deal. For the author, we don't really care if this is null. If it's null, then it will catch it later and we'll just hide it. So the only other error is if this mod type is invalid, so mod load exception invalid mod type. Okay, and I should pass the unique ID just for this error catching. So we'd want to switch mod type to upper invariant. Okay, I don't need to break, I'd actually just return. And again, if it's anything else, we'll just want to throw this error. I think we're good for that. So if there's any of these errors, what would I actually do? I guess I would just kind of create a dummy entry. Okay, so let's see. Private, loaded, mod data. Okay, so error, let's see, make error data. Actually, I don't need to pass the unique ID here because, yeah, we still have the unique ID down here when we are loading the mod, or here when we're dealing with the exception, so I don't actually need to pass it with the exception. Well, since I already passed that through, might as well just keep it in case. String, and then mod load exception. So I guess if this happened, basically we wouldn't want to have any of this data, but we would just have an error string. This will actually be a load error because there's other types of errors that could happen with incompatibilities, which is actually a thing that I should deal with. Because a content mod. Okay, let's see. Noticing rows, framework mods, content mods, and we'll have to keep track of incompatibilities. So content mod, well, you'll be able to, I think you'll be able to set specific framework mods that the content's compatible with, as well as any that's not compatible with, and then other content mods that cause an issue. I don't know how in-depth we want to be with that, really, because it's kind of hard for a mod author to know about every other mod in existence. Obviously. Not open anymore. But anyway, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So let me see. Back to here. So I guess we'll just want to create kind of a dummy loaded mod data that's almost everything is empty. And unique ID is unique ID, and then load error is this exception message. And I want to make sure that we set the error to null here. Although, really, this is kind of already set like that, but I'll just be explicit. So first we'll log the exception, and then I'll also add create, or what is it? Okay, well, I should rename that to be more consistent. Alright, so I think we're pretty much done. I guess I'll run it one time to make sure that everything still works. Oh, actually, I want to make that show up in the debug. That's what I was going to do before I thought about all these errors. Let me see. I guess while I'm working on it, I'll make this network mod registry also show up. And in order to do that, I just need to tag these all as serializable. Okay, and then the lobby expector. So yeah, these things will only be in the lobby context. So I need to wait until, yeah, this is a lobby controller. Oh, that's right. I just need to use the right namespace. Why do I need to set up lobby? Okay, so now we have the context I can get. So private mod or loaded mod data. Oh, loaded mod registry. So loaded mods, and then network mod registry. Equals context get, and then net mods equals context get network mod registry. Okay, I think this is good. Oh, so this will throw an error because the network mod registry hasn't been set up yet, so I guess I'll go ahead and do that, even though we don't actually need it yet. Okay, so now in the debug, I should see those new entries show up in just a second. Yeah, so loaded mods. I'll just put a dummy value in here so I can see what it looks like. Okay, so now when we play, it should show up Oh, except we got an error. Of course, I didn't initialize the list. Okay, so now we have some stuff in here. It's a content mod. This all looks correct. Although these versions should both be updated because they've been changed quite a bit since then. And of course, the network mod will be empty. Alright. Okay, well, this has been a bit of a shorter stream, but I think this is a good place to stop. And tomorrow we'll work on hooking up. Well, yeah, I'll need to research a bit about loading these images, and then I'll hook up this data into the actual interface, and we'll get started on that. Yeah, I kind of want. Okay, so I want this to have a fully featured UI for the network, or for the host first, and then we'll worry about sending information over to the different clients, I think. Well, we'll see. A lot of it is kind of intertwined because we gotta make sure that the versions are up to date and everything. So we'll see. But I guess that's it for today. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and watching, and hopefully tomorrow my schedule will be a bit calmer. So I'll actually start on time and have a full stream. But until then, I should be live at around noon Eastern, planning on it. Feel free to follow me here on Twitch or on my Twitter if you'd like to be notified when I go live. I also have a YouTube channel where you can check out all my past streams if you'd like to see how the game used to look or just catch up on anything. Check it out there. And then finally, I have a Discord channel where you can chat with me. I'm there most of the day, so I'd love to see you there. But yeah, I'll put links in chat, or you can check out the video description if you're watching from YouTube. And I think that's about it. So yeah, again, thanks everybody, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.